Hello, this is Jan with Travel Smart Seniors. I am very excited to show you some new travel planning techniques that I now use using ChatGPT. ChatGPT was introduced in November of 2022 and is powered by artificial intelligence that will hold a conversation with you as you explore options in your travel planning. I will incorporate ChatGPT into my standard travel planning techniques and use things like Google My Maps to plan out our route. And then I will show you in Google Calendar how I use the calendar to lay out the schedule for my trip. Now, when we take our trips, we travel with Eurail passes. But I don't like to pack and unpack a lot, so that we will stay in a hub city and then take day trips in and out of that hub city using the train. And ChatGPT is now perfect for that. Also, many of our trips are anchored using a cruise. And then finally, we make all our accommodations through booking.com, again, using assistance from ChatGPT. So let's get started, and I'll walk you through the steps that I used to plan our trip in April of 2023. So there are 5 simple questions that you would like to answer before you get started. Where, when, how much, how long, and where do you want to start, which is sometimes the airport you fly into. Our trip this year is anchored by a cruise from Croisi Cruise Europe. It goes up the east coast of Spain from Malaga to Barcelona, and it helps us then frame the trip since this is a fixed point in time and location that we travel. First of all, it's pretty obvious we're going to go to Spain, but will we go someplace else after the cruise? So the cruise is from April 22nd through April 29th, and that frames our time, and of course we've defined our budget. We've decided we would like the trip to be 1 month long, and we haven't decided on a starting point yet. Before we start asking ChatGPT some questions, let me show you some of the tools that I use to help me keep track of the planning. The first of which is Google Calendars. One of the benefits of the calendar, besides planning, is you are able to share the completed calendar with your friends or family, and they can keep track of your whereabouts while you're gone. I've started this calendar by entering the dates for our cruise, and by the way, I will share this calendar with you when it's done, and you can check it in the links below. Google Maps is pretty essential for us to lay out our trip in addition to the calendar. Here we have entered the start of our cruise in Malaga and the end of our cruise in Barcelona. And then we'll use the rest of the map to plan our trip out for where we'll stay and also day trips from certain hubs. As with the calendar, this complete map will be available to you in the links below. Now comes the fun part as we head over to ChatGPT to ask some questions about planning for our trip. The first thing we want to know is where to start the trip before the cruise. So here is the ChatGPT interface, and there's not much to it. Down here you enter your query, and then up here you'll see the results. So let's get started. Here is the map of Spain, and before we start our cruise in Malaga, we would like to ask about going to the interior and visiting one or more cities. Let's put a further constraint on our query, and here's our calendar. And I always like to fly in the middle of the week because it's usually not as crowded and fares are actually a little lower in the middle of the week. That leaves us 2 options before the cruise. We leave on maybe the 18th or 19th, but we would get in on the 19th through the 20th, and it wouldn't give us much time before the cruise. The other option is to leave on the 11th or 12th, and that gives us a number of days to visit someplace in the interior before starting the cruise. So let's go with our first question and see how it does. We are traveling to Spain in April, and we have a cruise from Malaga to Barcelona from the 19th to the 22nd of April. We plan to arrive in Spain on the 11th or 12th of April. We are traveling with a rail pass and want to stay in 1 or 2 cities for a while and then make day trips out of those cities by train. We will be flying in from Chicago, so we want to start at a city with an international airport. So let's see how it does, and we'll ask the question. my goodness, this gave me far more than I expected. It gave me, first of all, start in Madrid, which has the international airport, spend 3 to 4 days, take a train from Madrid to Seville, which is 2 hours and 30 minutes, take a train from Seville to Granada, which is covered in the cruise. I didn't mention that when I was talking to ChatGPT. We will have some time in Malaga with the cruise and also in Barcelona. So it looks like the two options are Madrid and Seville. And then it lists the day trips from Madrid by train, Toledo or Segovia, from Seville to Cordoba. That was pretty darn good. So let's ask a follow-up question. And because we are chatting, it remembers what we had chatted about before, so we'll see how it does. Thanks for that response. We will be seeing Granada, Malaga, and Barcelona on the cruise, so I think we just stay in Madrid and Seville. We have from approximately April 11th to April 22nd when we need to be in Malaga. So how long do you think we should stay in Madrid and Seville, respectively? So we need to scroll down to see it. Then it makes sense to focus on Madrid and Seville for the rest of your trip. Based on your time frame, I would suggest 5 to 6 days in Madrid and 4 to 5 days in Seville. Wow. Okay, we got it. So let's look at the calendar again and add the stops in Madrid and Seville and also on the map. And then we'll follow up with some more queries. So 5 to 6 days in Madrid, 4 to 5 days in Seville. And looking at the calendar, I think I'd like to leave on a Tuesday and take advantage of the cheaper fares and arrive in Madrid on the 12th. Now we'll add that to the calendar. So we'll arrive in Madrid on the 12th and probably be jet lagged terribly. So let's sort of put that as a half a day, and we'll stay 5 days then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there we have our 5 days in Madrid, so that means we will go to Seville on the 17th and then to Malaga on the 22nd. Well, that looks pretty good. So let's add this to our map and then start planning some day trips out of both cities. So here's Madrid and Seville added to the map, and for extra information, I've added a route between the three cities. So now let's ask about possible day trips out of Madrid and then Seville. We will be in Madrid from April 12th through the 17th. We'd like to take some day trips out of Madrid by train with travel times under an hour. Can a Eurail pass be used? And then on the 17th, we'll travel from Madrid to Seville. Well, let's ask then. Wow. So here we are. Toledo, 30-minute train ride. Segovia, 30 minutes. I don't know how to pronounce that. That's 45 minutes. And we can use our Eurail pass. Reserve seats during peak time. On the 17th, a high-speed train from Madrid to Seville, 2 hours and 30 minutes. All right, here's another question. We only have time for 2 day trips out of Madrid. Of the 4 you recommended, which 2 should we take? So there it is. For 2 day trips, it's Toledo and Segovia, and with information about each one. I'll let you have a few seconds for you to look at that on your own. As a follow-up, is there a preferred day of the week that we should visit either Segovia or Toledo? Well, there we go. Visit during the week, on a weekday, but not Mondays. Any weekday in Segovia. If you visit on a weekend, arrive early. So let's look at our calendar and add these 2 events to our calendar and then to the map. At the calendar, it looks like the Thursday, the 13th, would be good for a day trip, but also Madrid will be a mess on the weekends as well, so we'll have to take 1 weekend day and go to Segovia perhaps on the 15th. And we're traveling on a Monday, so that should be just fine for museums and things being closed. Now we'll add these 2 day trips to the map. So there they are, both Segovia and Toledo are about 30 minutes by train out of Madrid. Now let's go back to ChatGPT and see what kind of information it can give us about sightseeing in Madrid. So we have 3.5 days in Madrid, one of which is a Sunday. We are interested in art, architecture, and music. Can you suggest a day-by-day itinerary for us to explore Madrid? So here's the answer, day by day. Oh, that's interesting. They're giving it Monday, Tuesday, I suppose Wednesday, and then Sunday. I didn't specify days of the week, so maybe I should have gone back and done that. But nevertheless, it looks like a good recommendation. And I can copy that out and put it in a Word document and save it for when we're actually in Madrid. Now let's try something perhaps a little more difficult, and that's accommodations. We will be in Madrid from April 12th through April 17th. We are looking for accommodations, and here's the requirements for those. We want to be close to the train station, but in a charming hotel. It needs to have an elevator, and breakfast would be a bonus. Hopefully it would be under 150 euros. All right, here we go. All right, here's the hotels. I will use booking.com to compare this list, and then I'll show you some other things that I do in trying to find hotels. But this is a good starting point for us. So I'm going to stop here for a bit and post this interim work on YouTube and solicit feedback. So if you have some ideas, if this works or is a good idea to keep going, I will. Otherwise, put your comments in the comment section below. Thank you.